We're in Napa in Toni Doilney's studio. Beautiful place and weather today, so you can see the landscape behind us that inspired Toni to create her masterpieces. That I believe this. When I look at Toni Doilney's works, at her paintings, I think that painting still alive. So you will see how she works, and we will be go inside her studio and to show more works. The way, the
But
place
you
where
studied
Toni
folk
works.
art, right?
Yes. Well, I studied art history and anthropology together, and what inspires primitive cultures to create art. And I actually studied one whole semester in Romanian embroidery and textile arts, and so I like the pattern of abstract patterns, and I also like American folk art too, because like in the quilts and the designs in American folk art, even like Grandma Moses, where the pattern fills the whole canvas.
But the purpose of art was different at the time. Tribal art is different. It's sacred, right? It's functional art. It's not like today. What is art for you today? Today, what do you think? What is art about, and what do you think about painting today?
Well, that's a big question. I think that people create art for a lot of different reasons, and for me, I like the it's definitely an expression, an emotional expression. I'm not out there to create a pretty scene. You know, I don't like say, oh, here's a painting of a specific scene. It's more the feeling that I've gotten from the scene.
Right.
So it's a way to express feelings about the beauty that you see around you. I studied art in college, but as an academic. And as soon as I graduated from college, like 1 week after graduation, I was at the store buying paints and brushes and starting to paint, because I knew I could never own a Van Gogh or a Matisse, so I better start painting on my own if I want to. I don't know, it just started, and that was many years ago, and I painted in, you know, like on the floor of the living room, and then I had a family and businesses, and I went for many years without painting, but when we moved here, I was suddenly free to paint, and we built this art studio, and that was a key ingredient, to have a place where you can put all your stuff out and not clean up the mess, or just where you can have privacy. I don't have a phone out here, or I have a radio, but I like the peace and quiet of and I can be painting a snow scene, which I seem to do a lot of, and it's 100 degrees outside, but it doesn't really matter because you're involved in your own world.
Okay.
Well, I do think that Napa Valley is one of the prettiest places on earth, and every day and every season I go outside and I'm just like, this is so beautiful. The colors are so beautiful, and I like the rural landscape. I like it in France or England or Ireland, you know. I even like desert landscapes, but still I think that's the beauty that you find around.
Last series of works, how, you know, what was
what inspired me?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, it's very hard for an artist to pinpoint their inspiration. It might be colors, it might be a texture, it might be a mood or a feeling, and it's hard to like say this exact thing inspired me. But I loved seeing all the art that was folk art, telling the stories and the feeling of peasant art in all the museums, and the designs on the fabrics, the designs in the boxes, the ornateness in the architecture. I mean, the onion top domes are enough to make you wonder, what kind of fairy tale is this? You know, who would build those onion dome churches and then paint them all those colors? It's just like, that seems so fantastic to me that I thought the Russian fairy tale theme, not that I was going to illustrate exact stories, you know, like for a child's book, but the feeling that those fairy tales gave of the Russian forests and the snow and the endless steppes, or whatever you would call them, I don't know, but and then the onion top domes and the magic of it all, I think, was very apparent.
I'm very happy that you have admirers and collectors from all over the world. Switzerland, Singapore, Australia, New Zealand. So
it's amazing to me. I'd like to plant a little GPS device in the paintings so that I could see where they are in the world.
And thank you, Toni, for sharing your passion with us and sharing your painting with us.
Well, I'm very appreciative of galleries and what they do for the artists. They help the artists to reach out and